Peace and greetings. This is your girl Mojo, and I'm back with another video tarot reading for you. This is a new moon guidance spread for fire signs. So that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This applies to you whether you have it as a sun, moon, or rising sign. Again, that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius for your sun, moon, or rising sign. I'm just blessing my spread with some of that good old sandalwood incense before we hop into it. I've already shuffled and dealt the cards, as you can see. If I could just get this in here, that'd be great. Okay, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Let's see what the new moon guidance spread has for you today. Okay. Now these cards do correspond to a particular thing or question. The rest of the cards down here are just for additional messaging and guidance. Okay, so the first question is, what area of your life is currently imbalanced? You have the King of Swords there, so I'm definitely going to say this is a mental quest for you. The new moon in Libra is about balance, so mentally you're kind of unbalanced. I won't say like you're crazy or insane or anything like that. That's not really nice to say, but you might be dealing with some mental health issues, or really just dealing with how you're coping with life and how that's affecting you mentally. King of Swords is the active part of the mind, or rather how the mind perceives and relates to action. So you may be having some issues with actions that you're not able to take mentally, or rather having issues putting your ideas and thoughts into play versus just continuing to think about them. I think it really is speaking to the fact that maybe you feel like your mind is kind of out of control, or you're not really able to rein it in. Maybe some things like meditation aren't really working for you. I want to speak to that just very briefly here. A lot of people always say, oh, meditation, you're supposed to clear your mind out. But, the more you try to do that, the more impossible you're going to find that to do. Simple fact is, the mind never stops. You can't clear it out. As far as I know, that's impossible. It's a thing that thinks. That's what it's supposed to do. So even when you sit down to find peace and quiet, you're going to find that it continues to go on and on. I think for me, because that's the problem that I have, for me, I have to find a way to take my focus out of the round and round of thoughts. That's what meditation is for me. Finding something that I can focus on, which means meditation for me doesn't look the way that it look like it looks for a lot of other people. It's not just sitting still with me. It's usually me doing something with my mind, finding an activity for my mind to focus on, like writing or taking a walk or going for a couple miles on the bike, something like that. Don't always look for your processes to look like everybody else's, because you are a unique individual. So what works for everybody isn't necessarily going to work for you. You just really probably dealing with a lot of self-doubt, which your mind is where it all starts. So if that's in trouble, then the rest of it is probably looking really shaky too. Yeah, you're just needing to, I guess I would say, get some new perspective on yourself, because I mean, this is still the King of Swords, so you're actually more in control than you realize. Okay, the next question is, how can I best balance the different facets of my life? Okay, you've got the Nine of Cups here, which is a person seated on a throne underneath 9 cups. Now, the cups are reversed, so I'm going to say for you, as far as how you can best balance the life. Okay. I'm sorry. Let me go back to this. You might be an overthinker. You might be thinking too much about what it is that you want to do, want to say, the things that you want to accomplish in your life, which, again, it's nothing wrong with having desires, goals, wishes, dreams, and all that, but you might be thinking yourself into a fucking you might be thinking yourself into misery. And again, like I said before, the thoughts never really stop, but we can decide what focus and attention we give to them. Now, you've already perhaps formulated your plan. Cool, great. But you don't need to drag yourself down by constantly worrying about it. I think what it's saying here is how you can balance the different facets of your life is to, I don't want to say not do this. It's easy to say, but how do you actually do it? I think maybe getting into a place where you can feel things more instead of just always thinking, being so logical, being so rational. Not saying be illogical or irrational, but don't ignore these other parts here. Like, it's good to have planning, it's good to have ideas and such, but you can't forget that there's other parts of life here for you to take advantage of. When you put yourself in a place of uh, kind of this misery, this round and round that comes with overthinking, you end up here, which the third card is, what messages do your guides have for you? This is kind of sapping your strength. Your strength, the strength card is reversed. So that tells me that you need to get back to a place where you can actually access your inner strength versus having it taken from you, having it stolen from you by this constant worry about whether or not what you're trying to do is actually going to work. Like, you feel so much about it, but at the same time, you're kind of disconnected from that. And that puts you in a disadvantageous place because now you can't access the thing you need that's going to actually pull you through. The next card says, or the question for the next card is, what needs to be sacrificed in order to start afresh? This is the Five of Pentacles. In this deck is called the Five of Coins. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say this. Maybe you need to. Okay. Maybe you need to give up your ideas about what you think being successful is. Give up your ideas, or refresh, review your ideas about what you think being prosperous and having abundance is. Obviously, that's having resources in this world. That means having money, but personal experience here, you can be so tied to what you think being successful and prosperous is that it kind of sabotages everything you do, because low key you think that you're not going to get it, or that you can't do it, or that you have to work extremely hard. You just have to do more than most to get where you're trying to go. I'm kind of getting the idea that there is a fear of lack, or maybe even an idea that you don't deserve the prosperity that will come from you applying your action and your strength to this goal that you have in mind. So I feel like the new moon in Libra is asking you to balance that. Like, you have to add what is true to the equation, or rather add what is do I want to say true, what is honest, what is right, what is good, so to speak. Having that fear, you have to meet that with the opposite, which is to say, okay, I may be scared, but I'm still deserving. I may be afraid, but it's still possible. I may be unsure, but I'm still going to go forward with all of my skills and strength and emotional ability into the situation to get out of it what I need. Five is actually a number of challenge, so I think you're being challenged here to reevaluate what prosperity, what security, what abundance actually means to you. I don't think this means, oh, you're gonna really just live in poverty or bad things are gonna happen to you, but I think you need to open yourself up to what you need and what you want coming to you in a myriad of ways. It may not just come from you having money. It may come in the form of people offering you things that you need, or suddenly having access to resources, food, clothing, shelter that you didn't have before. Because money, that's what we use money for, is to get those things. And honestly, personally, me, I like money, but I would also accept the things. Like, if people just sent me the things, that'd be great. I will accept that. And it took me a while to get there. I wasn't always there. But there's hope. And okay, so we're gonna move on to the fifth card here, which says, what intention set during this new moon will be most beneficial to me? Okay, so here's the confirmation of this whole overthinking thing. The intention set here, Nine of Swords. So you need to lay all of these mental burdens to rest. Like, seriously, like, for real. In the Rider Waite Smith deck, this card is a person sitting up in the bed. You can see that they've laid down to go to sleep, but they're not asleep. They're sitting up. They're supposed to be asleep. They're supposed to be resting, but what they're doing is sitting up. They're in agony. They've got their hands to their head, and it's these 9 swords that are laid out across the wall that's next to their bed. So that's a symbol of being just overburdened, weighed down by this constant stream of thoughts, which is worry, doubt, fear, you know what I'm saying? All those things that come along really with being alive, because these are normal, natural emotions. But what I will say is perhaps abnormal is when it's out of balance. Well, not abnormal. I don't mean abnormal like that shouldn't happen to you, but that's not the default state of being that you should be in. Like, you should not be, and I don't like to should people, but what I'm saying as far as talking about what's a good life, what's a peaceful state of being, this ain't it. This is not it right here. This is like the drama, the internal agony, the fucking struggle, the worry. This is how you wake up and immediately you're crying and you're sad or you're stressed out, because as soon as you pop open your eyes, here comes this string of thoughts that just round and round and round, and it's taking you with it, and it's whipping you up into a frenzy, and you can't even really act on the things that you want to act on because you're so caught up with worry, so caught up with doubt. So this new moon in Libra, for my fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, new moon in Libra is asking you to lay those doubts and fears to rest. Setting the intention of, let's see, what could you say? How would you say this? I will not allow my thoughts to drive me crazy. That's one way to say it. I mean, you could really personalize this. Definitely don't just take it from me. You have to make it personal to you, I feel. And that way it'll have a better effect, so to speak. It'll get deeper than just taking my words for it, because I don't really know specifically um, what you're going through. Again, I just get the idea that it's a very mentally taxing situation. How would you counter this? Well, this is air, so maybe the opposite of air in the elements, I would say, is emotions. And that's kind of the answer right here. It says, how do you balance the different facets of your life? So, temper this mental anguish with emotions, with intuition. So, you know what I'm saying? Your fears and your doubts and your worries are all telling you this isn't going to work, it isn't going to be successful, but you can rely on your intuition. You can rely on what you actually feel from that, what you actually know from your intuition, to counter that. Maybe your mind says, I am in doubt, but your intuition says, I know better. So your intention can be something like, I fully trust and rely upon my intuition to guide me. Next card is, where will your soul searching lead you? This is actually another major arcana card here. You've got the death card. It is reversed. So I feel like the soul searching that you're going to do with this new moon in Libra is going to, I'm going to be honest, it might hurt. You know what I'm saying? Death is but a door. So it's a passageway. It's not a complete end to you, but I think what's going to be ending here is you finally coming to terms with not getting caught up in this. You're going to finally lay these things to rest here. And then, once you go through that door, you go on to the next great adventure, so to speak. You're able to move forward. You're able to actually rule as the King of Swords over your life, versus just being this person who has no strength, who's just constantly internally struggling, who's just beset by all their mental woes and doubts. The death card here is saying that you're going to pass from one phase of life to the next, so to speak. Now, obviously, I don't think this is a physical death, but what I mean for next phase of your life, I think you're being called to move up to the next level. Like, you've kind of been here in this worry, doubt, fear place for a while, but once you do this, set these intentions, start to act on that, start to reevaluate and reprocess how you're thinking and what you're thinking about and what you're focusing on, that's going to be the key to you moving forward to the next part of your life. Now let's see. These are additional messages that I've pulled from other decks. Let's see what we've got. You see this now, don't you? It says worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change the outcome. I could not have planned this better myself. I'm ecstatic that I see this. I'm very sorry. First, let me say, that you're in that position. I know, as a Libra, I am a Libra sun sign. I definitely know what it feels like to just be up and down about your thoughts, worrying about if things are going to work out, like what's going to happen. Dear God, please help me. Yeah, the cards are not playing around with you right now. Worry. It says, I am learning that worry does not change the outcome. So again, King of Swords, while you are worrying and stressing and struggling with what's going to happen, you're not helping. You are not helping it. You're not helping it. And in fact, I'm sad to say, you're actually making it worse, because that's what that's what our focus does. When we focus on anything, that just brings more of it, at least from our end. I've always said that you can't really do anything about stuff that happens outside of you. You can't really do anything about what other people say or do, but, for what you can do something about, then that's where your focus should be. When you focus on what you love and what you agree with, what gives you joy, your life universe has a way of making that be more in your life. Whereas when you're constantly focused on what you're worried about, what you're afraid of, then that tends to amplify that as well. The journey for you here is to, and maybe this is the affirmation you can use. I'm learning that worry doesn't change an outcome, or base the affirmation on something like that. You know what I'm saying? Stop worrying, stop doubting, stop scaring yourself to death. And when I say stop, you can't really stop these emotions from happening either. That is just a part of being alive in this world, right? But you can decide what you do when these things come up. You get a worrisome thought, counter that with something intuitive that speaks, to the truth about it, versus the worry, the doubt that's being blown up and out of proportion in your mind. Let's see. Okay. Pelican. This is animal power animal oracle card. Message from that card says, Pelican, forgiveness, let go of your judgments, which I kind of said something about that for the Five of Coins card, which was the what needs to be sacrificed. So I think, whew, okay, this is deep. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. I feel like your ideas about, and these don't necessarily have to start with you. A lot of our preconceptions, our notions, our ideas about what we think things are have been passed down to us. It's what we have learned from our families, it's what we have learned from friends and society. But, a part of growing up, a part of maturing is being able to examine ourselves regularly to say whether or not these things that we believe still hold true, or do they need to be thrown out. Like, ooh, okay. I mean, I've had to reevaluate my ideas on so many things, and it's such a regular process now. I'm only really just now getting used to it after 5 or 6 years of it happening so much. I'm just like, wow, okay, so that doesn't mean what I think it means now. Or, wow, I can see how what I thought this was is actually not serving me anymore, and that I need to reevaluate what I think. In this case, I think this has to do with your ideas of abundance and resources. Maybe you've had past failures, and that has, or what you perceive as past failures. I'm personally of the mind that you really only fail by just not even trying. Even when you try and it doesn't get exactly where you want it to be, you still succeeded because you've learned something. You've done it, and now you see. Just like that last video, the one that I made before this, I used my phone to do it, and great, I did it. It's out there, got a couple views, cool. But I also learned that the positioning of my phone only made the video like this freaking big. Like, it's not formatted correctly. I put it out there, and now I can see that. So I'm using something different, which I wouldn't have known had I not even tried. So you've got to not, well, I'm not going to say not be afraid. Sometimes you have to do it scared. If you have to do it scared, that's fine, just as long as you do it. But don't let the fear of uncertainty stop you from reevaluating or being letting go of what's no longer serving you. These doubts and these fears and these worries are going to constantly keep you in this sapped, drained place if you don't let them go. They're feeding off of your energy. Then your worries and fears are just going to manifest more of that. So you have to let that go. If you want to move beyond this, I mean, if you're fine here, then go ahead and do that. That's totally up to you. But I don't want that for you, and I'm pretty sure that's not what you actually want. You want to, do what you want. Okay, so the ancestral message here, we've got two cards. One says the Hunter of Abundance, and the other one says the Spirit of Family. Okay, so that's interesting that you've got, this issue going on, but then you end up with the Hunter of Abundance. Okay, I'm going to read from the book on this messaging, just to give you that information. It says, I am the Hunter of Abundance. Wherever I go, I forage for the richest store of good things, the utmost bounty that will encourage stability, strength, growth, and comfort within you. When I find these things, I bring them home to bestow upon you who have asked me to seek them out. My presence on your journey represents a fulfillment of purpose, an overflowing of fruitfulness and riches, of spirit, heart, and mind. So, this is really cool. So while you are having these fears and these doubts about these ideas that you're trying to implement and whether or not they're going to actually bring you the fruitfulness, the abundance, the resources that you need, your ancestors want you to know that it's all to the good. Like, you have so much help and so much assistance on your side. You almost literally cannot fail. You're not going to be in the poorhouse. You know what I'm saying? You're going to always have what you need because you have this energy that's represented in this Hunter of Abundance that's on your side. This is the opposite of lack, of being uncertain. This is having plenty. This is having love and well-being, having creative motivation, spiritual sufficiency. You may even discover some hidden talents. Definitely some resourcefulness that helps you along your way. What is this? What is this? You see that? Where did it come from? I don't think I have anything like this. Okay. Aries, Leo, fire signs, and then this little blue feather. I'm gonna have to run this video back. I don't know where this came from. But okay, so yeah, take that as a sign that the message is here for you, that you have access to everything you already need. Okay, so your worries and fears and doubts are really keeping you from getting into that access and that energy or the truth about that abundance that you have. And I feel like this is passed down to you through this, which says the Spirit of Family. I'm going to read the messaging for that to you now. I am the Spirit of Family. I hold the heart of the family group in my hands, sheltering it and protecting it from harm, and helping to bind together the elements it comprises. On every side, I see relatives, both human and animal, that together form a greater whole. I reach out to your spiritual kin, to both ancestors and guardians, offering support in the times of trouble and resolution in times of conflict. So I feel like this abundance is something that is passed to you through your spiritual ancestors, not just your physical ancestors, but your spiritual ancestors. Again, you have so much power on your team and on your side. There's literally no way you can fail except by not trying. You know, you can seek out the support of your family members, spiritual or otherwise, because I know not everybody has a supportive family. But you know, again, spirit guides, spirit guardians, your spiritual family. If you do have people on this plane, in this realm, you can look to them for support. You know, this sense of community really that you can rely on to be the bridge for you for the things that you need. That's really cool. Okay, and so we're going to look at these last two cards and we'll see. Okay, so one of the cards is reversed and one of them isn't. The reverse card says the Rainmaker, and the number on the card is 42. Now, the interesting part is I'm actually wearing a shirt with the number 42 on it. I don't know if you know this movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They asked a huge computer machine what was the secret of life or something to that effect, and the computer answered 42. So this is the answer for you. It says it's the Rainmaker. I know that for this particular deck, when these cards are reversed, then they're read a little bit differently. I'm just gonna go get that information for you right now. Okay. Yeah, the Rainmaker is about manifestation. It's about actually bringing your thoughts and ideas into fruition, making them tangible, touchable results that you can see. Um, you can call upon the elements of nature to serve your greater good. When the power to co-create is used with integrity, great beauty and benefit flow to all. When the power is used for personal gain only, then everyone suffers. When the earth is parched, the Rainmaker calls the waters from the heavens, and all that is dormant in the fields and in people's hearts springs to life again. When the card is reversed, it's read as a medicine, versus when it's upright, it's read as an invitation. Interesting to note that this is only 10 numbers more than here. So it's like this is the step, but this is where, you know, you can go with that. For the Rainmaker, the medicine is recognize how you are co-creating your world. Nothing is happening out there without your involvement. Remember that the world is only mirroring back to you the condition of your love and your intent. So change these within you before you take any action. Do not take life personally. Okay. And let's see, for the invitation, the essence of this card, the standstill. When standstill appears, it is a symbol of pausing, the act of observation and breathing space. It represents the benefits of temporary non-action as well as what happens when one is stuck. Okay? When things seem to stall or stagnate, or when you feel stuck, this symbol appears as a reminder that constant action isn't going to get you where you want to go. Constantly worrying about it isn't going to get you where you want to go. Perhaps it's time to gather more information or just wait until the universe makes the next move. No matter what, this moment is a beautiful gift orchestrated in your favor. Enjoy it. Let the universe bring all the parts together for the highest good. Go and play, recharge, and take focus off of whatever has stalled. Life will get busy again for you sooner than you think. Wow. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed every time. I've been reading tarot, reading cards, oracle cards for such a long time now, and I'm just always amazed to see how how the messages reveal themselves. Thank you so much, fire signs, for letting me read this for you. Please, please, please comment below and let me know if it resonated, what was on point, what wasn't a complete match. Please remember, these are very, very general readings, so it doesn't, if some of it doesn't resonate with you, that's totally fine. Just take what you need. Please remember to like and subscribe. I will really appreciate that. Share my video. And if you need to, you can book a personal reading. Just check out the video information below. Thank you so much.